news. It's that special time again, Matt. It's time for a comic multiverse news brief.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a number of stories here. First up, Luke Cage is going to be getting himself a brand new miniseries. This is a 3-parter. It's called City on Fire.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a long time for Luke Cage. It felt like, they were really all in on Cage for the longest time when he had a show and Netflix and everything. And then when that dried up, they're like, maybe we don't care about you near as much anymore.
Yeah, he hasn't really appeared in all that much since.
No, I can't think of the last thing he's been in. And again, we have all these multiple Avengers books going on right now, but no place for Luke Cage.
Yeah, he hasn't even appeared in like Daredevil or anything.
He has in Zdarsky's Daredevil, but only in the beginning and only
very
in
briefly.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the sounding board for Matt when he thought he killed somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the writer on this one is very interesting. It's Ho-Chi Anderson, who is a very prolific writer in his own right. I'm sure some people are like, well, I've never heard of him before. I think he's most famously well known for actually being a biographer for Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that should tell you where he's coming from. The general story that I can glean from the solicitation from City on Fire should actually sound pretty familiar if you're reading Batman right now, because apparently New York City deputizes some crazy killer super cops.
Yep. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Again, that sounds a little realistic, doesn't it? Yeah, a bunch of kill crazy super cops in New York City, and again, we can see the reflection of Wilson Fisk on here, which I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Fisk is still mayor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Feels like he doesn't do as much evil stuff as mayor as you would think he would. He's really drowned in the admin of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, these new crazy super cops that Fisk deputizes end up going crazy, and it's up to Luke Cage.
Of course they end up going crazy.
I know, right? Come on. That feels like, hey, if our crazy super cops don't go nuts and turn on you, you get your money back. That's our freaking guarantee here at Simon Said Industries. Our peacekeepers will go nuts. So really, this is kind of the perfect story for Luke Cage, and I'm very excited for this. And at 3 issues, it seems like this is going to be really pointed.
Yeah. I like it when we get like miniseries that are like 3 issues or 6 issues, very to the point, concise.
Yeah, don't overstay your welcome. Sometimes you only need 3 issues to tell a really good story. Hell, some classic stories are very short. Days of Future Past is 2 issues. People forget that.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm all on board with this. This looks good. I can't wait to check in with Luke Cage and see what he's been doing.
Definitely. When does this book come out?
Fairly soon. I think in the next couple months, actually.
Like August, September, or something.
Yeah, I want to say.
Okay.
Probably September. Probably not August, but yeah, probably then. But hey, we're not done yet with brand new Marvel titles that you can get. Blade is getting a special issue. As a tie-in to the bigger Darkhold event, which we've talked about is going to be involving Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and everything in the fight for the big crazy book that everyone wants. And the story behind this one is that it's going to see Blade become like the king of an all-vampire world.
Nice. I want them just to go back to doing the whole story with him being the sheriff of Chernobyl. Because they kind of left that off at the end, just before they went into Heroes Reborn, and now they're dealing with all this other stuff with She-Hulk.
This seems like a promotion. You start off as vampire sheriff, and then eventually you become vampire king. Vampire middle management in the middle there, but eventually you become vampire king. This is interesting too, because obviously we've got a brand new like Blade. Is it a movie or a TV show that's coming down the pipeline?
Movie.
See, it's so freaking hard now in this new age of Marvel to keep track of, wait, what's a movie and what's a TV show anymore? They're all one and the same. I literally had someone, I shit you not, ask me, oh, hey, when does the new episode of Black Widow come out? I'm like, that was a movie. That was a big, long movie. Oh, well, I watched it in parts. Oh, well, there you go. That was a movie. Yes, they still make movies. It's not all TV shows anymore. But yeah, so this is going to be connected to that. It's interesting because, Blade, as you said, has been on the Avengers. They've been making sure that he stays nice and relevant in the public eye, but they have yet to pull the trigger on him and give him a full new book yet. Yeah,
it's been weird. I know there was, like, not too long ago, remember there was that pitch. I can't remember who the writer was for it, but there was that pitch where it would have been him and it had involved his, like, daughter.
Oh, that was Tim Seeley several years ago.
That's the one. Yeah, I remember that almost very got off the ground, but it never did.
They were all ready to go with that. In fact, what is it? Seeley talked about it quite candidly, where his general consensus was, where it's like, yeah, a lot of people talk to me, and they felt like maybe a white guy shouldn't be telling the next story of the next generation of Blade and his daughter, and he kind of seemed cool with it and everything. Though hilariously, we kind of saw people come full circle on that, and they're like, wait, why did we shout that down? We could have had a brand new character in Blade's daughter right now. We literally shrunk the number of like African American characters in Marvel Comics, and now Miss Marvel and Miles Morales and Sam Alexander are thriving out of here. We could have had a vampire hunter on that team. What the fuck were we doing, everybody?
I know.
Again, it's a perfect example of like, hey, just because a white guy writes it initially doesn't mean they're going to keep writing it afterwards.
No, not at all. Not at all. Other people would probably take that character and run with it.
You know what it is? People brought up Ironheart in this, where it's like, look, that Bendis Ironheart stuff, not great, but when Vita Ayala took over it, then it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So all you need is the right person for the right story. But yeah, so I'm imagining if Blade is getting special standalone issues to himself now, it's only a matter of time before we eventually get the Blade standalone series. Probably closer to his movie.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about that, just look at Moon Knight.
Yeah, they're probably getting ready to do one for his movie whenever that comes out.
And don't worry, everyone. We'll talk about the new Moon Knight when we get to it.
Yeah.
Now, moving on from there. Hey, Matt, you hear about these Eternals? You hear about them? You seen them?
I do. I've been reading their book.
You have been. I haven't been reading it yet, but you've been reading it and quite enjoying it. Well, guess what? That book is getting some supplemental material because we're getting the Eternals Celestia, which seems to exist for the purpose of reintroducing Ajak and Makkari as two ladies closer to their movie counterparts now.
Yep.
So there you go. And it looks like they're fighting the Avengers BC, which is also kind of cool because it's like, yeah, now that you're reintroducing the Eternals and now that Aaron has introduced the idea of the original, progenitor of the Avengers team, you're going to have to explain how and why these groups crossed paths.
Absolutely. I did actually think about that, like when the book, when the Eternals book did start, I'm like, hey, are we going to get like crossovers between these guys? Because these guys existed kind of at the same time. And yeah, I guess we are.
Absolutely. Do you think, what is it, that maybe this is them seeding ground to be like, yeah, hey, the Eternals, it's how we're going to explain the past of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You like them Avengers BC? Should we maybe try and work them in here somewhere? Because we could.
Into the movies?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
We have all the working parts. I mean, I think Eternals is going to be complex enough as it is when they're setting up all this different timeline stuff and everything.
Yeah.
But hey, it could work. And I also love the idea where they're just like, look, they're ladies in the movie, so they're ladies in the comics now. They could be whatever they want because they're constantly being reborn. Here you go.
Yeah. Well, that was built into the Kieran Gillen run where they could, when they're reborn, they can choose their form and they can choose whatever form they think. They get character customization, basically.
They're playing with all the codes turned on.
Yeah.
I like this too because it's like I truly believe no one actually knows as much about the Eternals as they claim to, so they could literally have just done this, and I wonder how many people would have noticed. Like, I'm sure half the people who saw this Eternal things like, I didn't even know they were different.
Yeah.
So there you go. You get some more Eternals love. I will have to go and read that Kieran Gillen run before I see the movie, just because.
Great. It's great.
Yeah, I mean they didn't put no slouch on it, that's for sure.
No.
More Marvel news coming down the pipeline. There was a very Marvel-centric week in the world of news. Marvel Voices, that very cool anthology series that they do highlighting different writers and artists of different walks of life. They just announced what the next one is going to be, and it's going to be Comunidades to celebrate basically Hispanic heroes is what it is. It's all the different Hispanic voices and heroes.
Yeah, and we got a cool cover here from Joe Quesada.
Yeah, most definitely there, which makes sense. Quesada, why he would take point on this one. We got Robbie Reyes, we got the White Tiger, we got Miles Morales, who I love getting to see Miles Morales featured here, where it's like, yes, I'm actually biracial. I am both black and Hispanic. You can be two things.
Yeah, it's great.
And one does not detract from the other. Callie Frederick saying there, Superman, R&B, Night were my fave this week. Oh, we'll be talking about those. Don't you worry.
Definitely be talking about them.
Yeah. So this is cool. I like that these exist. I've only been able to read a couple of these Marvel Voices things, but the ones I've read have been really good. I love they did the Native American one too, for characters like Danny Moonstar and everything. I think it's cool. I think everyone should get their own.
It is cool.
Yeah, to see themselves represented on the comic page. And also, it's a celebration of all just the diverse talent that are in comics right now that you can fill up a whole anthology book.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty stacked writer and artist log lines as well.
Most definitely. Now from there we got some news on the TV streaming front of things, and this is actually an evolution of a story that we've been following for a while now. I guess you could probably call this the top story, because I know it's something that everyone is talking about, and that is Michael B. Jordan. It finally came out this week, was finally announced that he is indeed developing a Superman project for HBO Max, and it is going to be featuring Val-Zod. Yeah,
kind of like I think what we thought was going to happen anyway, but it's interesting to note as well that this is for HBO Max, and it's interesting because I think WB announced there'd be like 20-something odd films coming to HBO Max over the next couple of years, and I couldn't help but think was like over half of them are going to be DC movies.
I mean, as you would hope so, with it being Alman asking their thoughts on the rumors of D'Onofrio and Kingpin returning to the Hawkeye series. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I don't think, again, it's just a rumor because he liked to post on Instagram or something. Again, can't really put too much faith in those sorts of things.
I mean, hey, wishful thinking, it would certainly be nice, but I mean, Hawkeye already sounds like it's going to be a stacked show already.
Yeah.
With Kate Bishop and Yelena and everything else on it. It's like, careful now, don't put too many things in it.
Too many on there, yeah.
Yeah, and also Hawkeye's in the show, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Awesome.
I know, right? But yeah, back to this Michael B. Jordan thing. What is particularly interesting about this story is they say he's developing it. Maybe he'll star in it. So he hasn't fully committed to even starring in it yet, which I find very interesting. You know what that communicates to me, Matt? I have a little like conspiracy tinfoil hat theory time.
What's that?
He's not committing fully to be Val-Zod for HBO Max because he's hoping maybe Marvel, Disney isn't sure yet what they're going to do with the future of Black Panther. And they're like, maybe we can't trust Shuri, the sister. Maybe we need to contrive a reason for why he needs to come back from the dead.
Maybe, yeah, I could see that. Maybe as well as that he just doesn't want to take on that role, because that's the pretty big role.
Like pretty big role.
The first Black Superman on live action, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people looking. In your direction. I do like the idea of it being a series, though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Especially if it's it's Val-Zod. Especially if they end up doing it like it's Earth 2.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because then you get all the different Earth 2 versions. We were big boosters of the New 52 Earth 2 comic book that I feel has lied mostly forgotten.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this gets made and my complete comic collection of them, all my single issues go up in value. I've got, and they're all signed by Tom Taylor as well.
Oh, Matt, you naughty speculator. You normally I'd say you're ruining the comic industry, but that's fine. This is okay. You get a pass. Everybody gets one. Because this is actually something that deserves to be speculated, because it's actually something kind of old and kind of forgotten. Yeah, you got to wonder, when they're developing it, because, will they stick true to the original Val-Zod stories of Earth 2, or will they completely upend it and do their own thing? Because I liked Val-Zod's story. Like, we don't meet him until fairly late into Earth 2 as a run, and then...
And that's why I think it won't be similar to what it is, because you need to have that, like, all the stuff before him, bringing him in.
Right. Now, as people are saying, too, so, this means that they're doing this, and also Coates is doing a Superman movie thing as well, so we're getting both these projects at the same time. Could this possibly mean we're going to get a Val-Zod project and a President Calvin Ellis project at the same time?
I'd be fine with that.
I'd be fine with it, too. And also, as I said before at the top of the show, bad people would their heads would explode over the concept.
Can we get Sunshine Superman as well?
Oh, yes, please. I was just thinking about Sunshine Superman the other day because I was writing a video on this topic when it only got bigger. I'm like, oh, yeah, Sunshine Superman. Morrison did another Black Superman, didn't he? Of the Love Syndicate. He's got a big, beautiful afro.
Yeah.
Love that guy. But yeah, so no matter what type of Superman fan you are, get ready because looks like you're going to be getting a lot of love in the next little bit.
The cup runneth over.
Yeah, it's like Warner Brothers finally remembered, hey, this Superman guy. It's pretty good.
It's like a contract of a certain filmmaker ran out, and they can now do whatever the fuck they want. And they're seeing on TV, what effect Superman is having when you get him right.
Exactly. They're seeing that, big ups to Superman and Lois for all the good stuff that show is doing. And also, too, I think they're seeing, maybe this is the, the ripple effects of the Disney Plus shows where it's like, oh, you can actually have more time to tell these stories.
Yeah. Oh, if you put like a big budget on these streaming services, people will actually watch them.
People will watch them. Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a service, so we should probably put stuff on there that people want to watch.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now, our last piece of news here actually involves the comics yet again. The Eisner Awards were announced this week, the winners.
They were.
Which surprised me. I'm like, wait, people already won it? But I didn't hear the announcements. Wait, it's already over?
What surprised me was that Comic-Con at home was happening.
Man, this is the weird-ass...
Remember when this used to be like the big event?
Yeah, and now no one gives a shit anymore. This is totally just life under quarantine, life during pandemic, where it's like, what do you mean that already came and went? What do you mean I didn't hear anything about it?
Yeah, again, the pandemic showing that like we don't need these things to find out about all these big new things that are coming out.
And that things are only big when we put that will into them, when we will them into existence. Some of the big winners at the show I thought I should bring up because it's stuff we've talked about on the show before and really enjoyed. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen won big at the award show.
I'm so glad it did. I loved that series.
I think it walked away with 2. I think it walked away with best miniseries and best comedy series.
Yep.
Black Widow by Kelly Thompson picked up an award, which I have not been reading, and now I feel like a goober for not reading. And I'm like,
very surprising.
I'm like, well, shit, I guess I better go read it then.
Yeah.
If it's now the Eisner Award-winning Black Widow series. Superman Smashes the Klan also picked up big because, of course, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just excellent and so good. I think it actually picked up like best educational comic, best comic for kids under a certain age, and I'm like, as it really should.
Makes sense. Yep,
it's perfect for that. And Gene Luen Yang, his Dragon Hoop series also won as well, so he picked up 2 awards.
Yep, Ed Brubaker won one for his excellent Western pulp.
Yeah, which I saw you review actually. I'm like, oh, Brubaker did a Western? I
reviewed it when it originally came out, and it's excellent. It's like Western mixed with like the Untouchables, mixed with like Nazis.
You're saying all the things I like, Matt. One of the other big awards there was for best writer in a superhero series, which was Tynion. James Tynion ended up picking up, I think, his very first Eisner.
Yes, I think so.
And he won the top prize, which really, you couldn't really argue it going to anyone else because obviously he's been killing it on Batman and Joker, and he's had like 2 different horror series that are going on now. That are
House on the Lake. I read the first issue not too long ago, and it's excellent.
Yeah, that's just blowing the fuck up. Like his work was unescapable this year, and like he's in that weird like special sweet spot that most comic writers don't get, where it's like you're getting the money and the praise for writing like the biggest superhero books in Batman and Joker, and then you're also getting the super cool like underground indie horror praise at the same time. So like freaking Tynion's bulletproof. This was like what Zdarsky was a couple years ago, Tynion was this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't be surprised if next year we end up seeing Joshua Williamson somewhere on there, since he's picking up steam.
This is definitely looking like Williamson's year, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
so congratulations to all those winners. Again, we love so many of those books, so it's super cool to get to see them honored and everything. And Tynion especially seems super touched and super honored on Twitter when he won and everything, which goes to show that he really didn't think he was going to win.
I'm just glad that it was a list of winners that like weren't like last year's, where they were all like, oh yeah, of course that guy won, because it's like they did like something a bit pretentious or something, or it's Tom King, of course,
Yeah, this was a very close competition this year. This was anyone's race, and I like it when it's like.
Yeah, there are so many good books.
Totally. Again, we were all stuck inside the last 2 years, which means we've been doing a lot of reading, but at least it was really good. And so yeah, there you go, everyone. There's another Comic Multiverse news brief.